Most of you have been through some things. You've been through situations that made you question everything. You had moments where you looked up at the sky and asked God, why me? Why now? Why does it have to be this hard? And I want you to know something very important today. God heard you. He heard every single prayer. He saw every single tear. He was there when nobody else was there. And the reason you are still here, the reason you are still breathing, the reason you still got a little bit of hope left in your heart is that God is not finished with you yet. I do not care what you have done. I do not care what you have been through. I do not care how many times you have messed up. God is in the business of using broken people. He takes the ones that society threw away. He takes the ones that people counted out. He takes the ones who even counted themselves out. And he says, watch what I am about to do with this one. You see, your mistakes are not your identity. Your failures are not your finale. What happened to you is not what defines you. It is what God is doing in you and through you that matters. So stop letting people put you in a box because of your past. Stop letting your own mind imprison you because of what you used to be. You are not who you used to be. You are who God says you are. I have met so many people who are living half a life because they are dragging yesterday into today. They wake up every morning and the first thing they think about is something that happened 10 years ago, something that happened 20 years ago. They are carrying guilt and shame like a backpack full of bricks, and they wonder why they cannot move forward. You've got to put that weight down. God already forgave you the moment you asked him to. The question is, when are you going to forgive yourself? Let me tell you something about your past. Every single thing you went through, good and bad, was preparing you for this moment. Those mistakes taught you lessons that no classroom could ever teach you. Those failures showed you what does not work so you could discover what does. Those painful seasons built a resilience in you that is going to carry you through every challenge ahead. Your past was not wasted. It was training. Some of you came from homes where they told you that you would never amount to anything. They told you that you were a mistake. They told you that you were worthless. And you believed them because that was all you knew. But I am here to tell you today that they were wrong. Whoever spoke those words over you did not have the authority to determine your destiny. They were speaking from their own brokenness. They were projecting their own limitations onto you. But God says you are fearfully and wonderfully made. God says you are chosen. God says you are royalty. The enemy wants you to stay stuck in your past because he knows if you ever wake up to who you really are, he is finished. If you ever realize that the same power that raised Christ from the dead lives inside of you, the game changes. If you ever truly understand that you are a child of the Most High God, destined for greatness, called to do mighty things, there is nothing that can stop you. So the enemy keeps replaying your failures, keeps reminding you of your mistakes, keeps whispering that you are not good enough, and you have been listening to the wrong voice. Starting today, I need you to silence that voice. I need you to speak back to it. When it says you cannot, you say I can. When it says you are not enough, you say I am more than enough. When it says remember what you did, you say remember what God did. Your past has no power over you unless you give it power. And today, you are taking your power back. Today, you are stepping into a new chapter. Today, you are leaving the old version of yourself behind and walking into the person God created you to be. Let me tell you something about the God we serve. When the doctor said it could not be done, God said, watch this. When the bank said you cannot afford it, God said, watch this. When everybody around you said you would never make it, God said, watch this. Our God is not limited by human limitations. He is not bound by what we think is possible. He operates in a realm that is beyond our understanding. Our God is the God of miracles. He parts seas. He makes the blind eye see. He makes lame legs walk. He turns water into wine. He raises the dead back to life. And you are sitting here worried about a bill. You are sitting here stressed about a job. You are sitting here anxious about a relationship. Do you not know who your Father is? Do you not understand the power that is available to you? The same God who hung the stars in the sky, the same God who painted the sunset with his fingers, the same God that knows every grain of sand on every beach in the world. That is your Father. And if he can do all of that, do you really think your situation is too hard for him? Do you really think he looks at your problem and scratches his head, wondering what to do? He has already figured it out. He already has the solution. You just need to trust him enough to let him work. Some of you have dreams that seem just as impossible. You have visions for your life that make no logical sense. People around you laugh at you just like they laughed at Sarah. They say, "Who do you think you are?" They say that will never happen. They say, "Be realistic." But they do not understand that you serve a God who specializes in the unrealistic. He specializes in the things that make no sense. He loves to show up and show out when everybody counts you out. Whatever wall is standing in front of you today, I want you to know it has to come down. Not because of your strength, not because of your strategy, not because of your resources, but because the God of miracles is fighting for you. The same God who made the impossible possible throughout history is the same God who is working on your situation right now. Start looking at your problems through the lens of who God is, not through the lens of what you can see. Because when you truly understand that you serve a God of miracles, fear loses its grip on you and faith takes over. In this world, we use money, we use credit, we use influence, but in the kingdom of God, none of that matters. The currency of heaven is faith. And the more faith you have, the more miracles you will see. Faith is what unlocks the supernatural. Faith is what moves the hand of God. Faith is what separates those who just wish for things from those who actually receive them. But here is the thing about faith. Faith is not about what you can see. Faith is believing in what you cannot see. Faith is trusting God in the dark. Faith is saying, I do not know how this is going to work out, but I know who is working it out for me. That is faith. Real faith is not tested when everything is going well. Real faith is proven when everything is falling apart and you still choose to trust God anyway. So I am asking you today, how deep is your faith? Is your faith bigger than your fear? Is your faith bigger than your doubt? Is your faith bigger than the mountain standing in front of you? Because if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you can speak to that mountain and tell it to move. And it has to move, not because of your power, but because of whose power is backing you up. Your faith activates the power of God in your life. I think about the woman with the issue of blood. She had been bleeding for 12 years. She spent all her money on doctors, and none of them could help her. Society had cast her out. Religion had labeled her unclean. She had every reason to give up, but she had faith. She believed that if she could just touch the hem of his garment, she would be healed. And she pushed through the crowd. She crawled on the ground. She reached out her hand, and the moment she touched him, power left his body and healing entered hers. That is what faith does. Faith does not wait for perfect conditions. Faith does not wait for an invitation. Faith does not ask for permission. Faith pushes through every obstacle. Faith fights through every crowd. Faith reaches out even when logic says it is pointless. Faith believes before it sees. Faith acts before it is proof. And faith always gets rewarded. But let me tell you what kills faith. Doubt kills faith. Fear kills faith. Listening to negative voices kills faith. Surrounding yourself with unbelieving people kills faith. Looking at your circumstances more than you look at God kills faith. If you want to increase your faith, you have to feed your faith and starve your doubt. You have to spend more time in the Word, more time in prayer, more time around people who believe, more time meditating on what God can do instead of what you cannot do. Your faith is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Start exercising your faith in small things and watch it grow to handle big things. Trust God with the little decisions, and you will learn to trust Him with the major decisions. Step out in faith on small risks, and you will develop the courage to take massive leaps. Faith grows as you use it. So stop playing it safe. Stop staying in your comfort zone. Start taking steps of faith and watch how God responds when you show him that you truly believe he can do the impossible. I know it is hard right now. I know you are tired. I know you have been fighting for so long that you do not even know if you have any fight left. But I need you to hear me clearly. Your struggle is not in vain. Everything you are going through right now is part of your testimony. God is writing a story with your life. And every good story has conflict. Every good story has a challenge that the hero has to overcome. You are in the middle of your story right now, and it might feel like the darkest chapter, but the turning point is coming. See, God does not waste anything. Every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt, every time somebody betrayed you, every time you fell, God is going to use all of it. He is taking your mess and turning it into your message. He is taking your test and turning it into your testimony. He is taking your pain and turning it into your platform. Nothing you have experienced is wasted in the hands of God. One day, you are going to look back at this moment. You are going to look back at this season, and you are going to understand exactly why you had to go through it. Because your story is going to help somebody else. Your breakthrough is going to give somebody else hope. Your miracle is going to remind somebody else that if God did it for you, he can do it for them too. Your struggle has purpose beyond yourself. Think about Joseph. He was thrown into a pit by his own brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused by his master's wife, thrown into prison for years. It looked like his life was over. It looked like he would die in that cell. But God was working behind the scenes the entire time. Everything Joseph went through was preparation for where God was taking him. And when the time was right, Joseph went from the prison to the palace in one day. He became second in command over all of Egypt. Your pit is not your destination. Your prison is not your permanent address. It is just a stop along the way to your purpose. The deeper the valley, the higher the mountain God is leading you to. The darker the night, the brighter your morning is going to be. The harder the struggle, the greater the testimony on the other side. So do not despise where you are right now. Embrace it. Learn from it. Let it shape you into who you need to become for where you are going. Some of the most powerful people in the world today have the most painful backstories. They came from poverty. They came from abuse. They came from addiction. They came from places that should have destroyed them. But instead of letting their circumstances define them, they let God refine them. They used their pain as fuel. They turned their scars into stars. And now their story gives hope to millions who are going through what they went through. That is going to be you. Your story is not meant to stay private. It is meant to go public. Your struggle is not just for you. It is for the people who are watching. It is for the next generation. It is for the person who is about to give up and needs to hear that somebody else made it through. You are surviving this so you can eventually help others survive it too. Keep pushing. Keep fighting. Keep believing. Your struggle is setting up the greatest story ever told about your life. Too many of you are waiting for somebody to validate your dreams. You are waiting for somebody to tell you that it is okay to want more. You are waiting for approval from people who do not even have the authority to give it to you. You are living a limited life because you need everybody to co-sign your vision before you feel confident enough to pursue it. That needs to stop today. Let me tell you something. God did not put that dream in your heart by accident. That vision you have, that thing that keeps you up at night, that idea that will not leave you alone, that is not random. That is God speaking to you. That is God showing you what he has planned for your life. When God gives you a dream, he has already equipped you with everything you need to achieve it. You just have to believe it and pursue it. So stop shrinking yourself to make other people comfortable. Stop dimming your light because somebody else cannot handle your shine. Stop asking for permission from people who do not even have the imagination to see what God has shown you. You do not need their approval. You have the approval of the Most High. The creator of the universe has given you a vision. What more validation could you possibly need? Here is the truth about people who try to limit your dreams. Most of the time, they are not trying to protect you. They are projecting their own fears onto you. They never pursued their dreams, so they do not want you to pursue yours. They settle for mediocrity, so they want you to settle too. They got comfortable in their comfort zone, so they cannot understand why you want to break out of yours. Their doubt says more about them than it does about you. I remember when people told me I could not do what I wanted to do. They said I did not have the talent. They said I did not have the connections. They said I did not have the education. They said I was too old, too young, too broke, too unknown, too everything. But I had a dream in my heart that I knew came from God. And I decided that their opinions did not matter more than my purpose. I stopped asking for permission and started taking action. You need to make that same decision today. Stop waiting for everyone to believe in you. You might have to walk alone for a while. You might have to believe in yourself when nobody else does. You might have to be your own cheerleader, your own motivator, your own source of encouragement. And that is okay. Because when God gives you a vision, it is between you and Him. Other people do not have to understand it. They just have to watch you do it. Dream bigger than your budget. Dream bigger than your background. Dream bigger than your current circumstances. Dream so big that it scares you a little. Dream so big that you need God to show up for it to happen. Because small dreams do not inspire anyone. Small dreams do not require faith. Small dreams do not move mountains. But when you dream God-sized dreams, you tap into supernatural provision. You access resources you never knew existed. You attract favor you could never manufacture on your own. Stop asking for permission and start pursuing your purpose. I know some of you have been waiting. You have been waiting for that breakthrough. You have been waiting for that door to open. You have been waiting for that relationship to heal. You have been waiting for that business to take off. And you are starting to wonder if God forgot about you. You are starting to question if He even heard your prayers. You are starting to lose hope because the longer you wait, the further away your miracle seems. He did not forget about you. God is never late. His timing is perfect. And sometimes the reason He delays is that He is preparing you for what He is preparing for you. If He gave it to you too soon, you would not be ready. You would mess it up. You would not appreciate it. So He is using this waiting season to build your character, to strengthen your faith, to prepare you for the weight of the blessing that is coming. So do not give up right before your miracle shows up. Do not throw in the towel when you are this close to the finish line. Your breakthrough is coming. And when it comes, it is going to be so big that everybody who doubted you is going to be speechless. Everybody who said it would never happen is going to have to eat their words. Everybody who walked away because they did not believe is going to wish they had stayed. Think about how long Abraham waited for his promise. 25 years. Do you understand how long that is? Most people give up after 25 days. Some give up after 25 hours. But Abraham had to wait 25 years before Isaac was born. But that baby came exactly when God said He would. Not a moment too soon. Not a moment too late. Right on time according to God's perfect schedule. Waiting is not passive. Waiting on God is active. It means you keep praying while you wait. You keep preparing while you wait. You keep positioning yourself while you wait. You keep believing while you wait. You keep working while you wait. Waiting does not mean sitting on your couch doing nothing. It means doing everything you know to do while trusting God to do what only He can do. Some blessings have a timing attached to them that you cannot rush. You cannot microwave a miracle. You cannot fast forward to your destiny. There are lessons you have to learn in the waiting room. There is growth that has to happen before the promotion. There is a character that has to be developed before the platform. God is more interested in who you are becoming than in what you are getting. So trust His timing even when it does not make sense to you. The delay is actually protection. If you got everything you wanted When you wanted it, you might become arrogant. You might forget who blessed you. You might think you did it on your own. But when you have to wait, when you have to struggle, when you have to depend on God completely, something happens in your heart. You develop humility. You develop gratitude. You develop a relationship with God that success alone could never build. So thank God for the delay. It is working in your favor even when it does not feel like it. Your words have power. The Bible says life and death are in the power of the tongue. That means what you speak matters. What you declare over your life matters. What you confess with your mouth matters. You are literally shaping your reality with the words that come out of your mouth every single day. So I have to ask you, what are you speaking about in your life? So stop speaking death over your dreams. Stop saying, I cannot do this. Stop saying it is too hard. Stop saying I am not good enough. Stop saying it is never going to happen for me. Every time you speak those words, you are prophesying failure over your own life. You are agreeing with the enemy. You are giving power to doubt and fear. Your words are either building you up or tearing you down. Instead, start speaking life. Start saying, I am blessed. I am favored. I am anointed. I am chosen. I am more than a conqueror. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. I am the head and not the tail. I am above and not beneath. Whatever I touch prospers. These are not just positive affirmations. These are declarations of truth based on who God says you are. Speak it until you believe it. Speak it until your circumstances bow to it. Speak it until the atmosphere around you changes. Because your words are seeds, and whatever you plant is going to grow. If you plant negative words, you will harvest a negative life. If you plant positive words rooted in faith, you will harvest a life filled with blessings and breakthroughs. I want you to understand the spiritual principle here. In the beginning, God spoke, and things came into existence. He said, let there be light, and there was light. He created the entire universe with his words, and you are made in his image. You carry a measure of that same creative power in your tongue. When you speak, things shift. When you declare, things move. When you proclaim, things happen. Stop agreeing with your circumstances and start prophesying your future. When sickness attacks your body, speak healing. When lack attacks your finances, speak abundance. When fear attacks your mind, speak peace. When doubt attacks your faith, speak the promises of God. You have to become your own best prophet. You have to speak where you are going, not where you are. You have to call things that are not as though they are. Your morning declarations will set the tone for your entire day. Before your feet hit the floor, start speaking life. Before you face any challenge, declare victory. Before you engage with anyone who might discourage you, fill yourself with words of faith. Guard your mouth as your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. The trajectory of your life will follow the direction of your words. So speak life and watch how everything around you begins to align with what you have declared. You need to evaluate who is in your circle, because not everybody deserves a seat at your table. Not everybody is supposed to go where you are going. Some people are only in your life to drain you, discourage you, and distract you from your purpose. And if you do not get serious about your relationships, you will end up with the wrong people in the right seats. You need people around you who believe in your dream, even when you are struggling to believe in it yourself. You need people who will pray with you, not just party with you. You need people who will push you toward your destiny, not pull you back into your past. You need people who have the faith to agree with you that nothing is impossible with God. The right people will add fuel to your fire. The wrong people will throw water on it. If you are the smartest person in your circle, you need a new circle. If everybody around you is negative, you need new surroundings. If the people closest to you do not believe in miracles, you need new friends. Because the people you surround yourself with will either fuel your faith or feed your fear. Choose wisely. Your associations will determine your acceleration. Think about how crabs operate. When you put a bunch of crabs in a bucket, none of them will escape. Why? because every time one tries to climb out, the others pull it back down. There are people in your life who operate like crabs. Every time you try to rise, they pull you back. Every time you try to dream bigger, they remind you of your limitations. Every time you try to break free, they find a way to keep you stuck. You have to love some people from a distance. You do not have to be mean about it. You do not have to cut people off in a dramatic way. But you have to be intentional about who gets access to you. Your inner circle should be small and solid. Your inner circle should be filled with people who are going somewhere. People who have dreams of their own. People who challenge you to grow. People who speak life when everything around you speaks death. I am where I am today because the people I chose to surround myself with. I found mentors who had been where I wanted to go. I connected with friends who challenged me instead of comforting my excuses. I built relationships with people who prayed when I was too weak to pray for myself. I eliminated the voices that kept telling me what I could not do and replaced them with voices that reminded me of what God could do. Take an inventory of your relationships this week. Ask yourself, who in my life is making me better? Who in my life is making me worse? Who in my life believes in my miracle? Who in my life is blocking my blessing? Be honest with yourself. Then make the adjustments that need to be made. Your destiny is too important to sacrifice on the altar of relationships that are going nowhere. Find your tribe. Find the people who will lock arms with you and believe God for the impossible together. You might be sitting here thinking, who am I? I am nobody special. I do not have a degree. I do not have connections. I do not come from money. I do not have the right background. I do not have the skills. I do not have the experience. You have a whole list of reasons why God cannot use you. But I am here to tell you that your list does not matter to God. But let me tell you who God uses. He used a shepherd boy named David to defeat a giant and become a king. He used a prostitute named Rahab to save an entire nation. He used a teenage girl named Mary to birth the Savior of the world. He used fishermen with no formal education to change the course of history. God has never been impressed by resumes and credentials. He looks at the heart. God does not call the qualified. He qualifies the call. He does not need your credentials. He needs your availability. He does not need your strength. He needs your surrender. All he needs is for you to say, yes, yes, Lord, use me. Yes, Lord, I am willing. Yes, Lord, I believe. When you make yourself available, God makes you capable. And when you say yes, God will take what little you have and multiply it beyond your wildest imagination. He will do more through your weakness than you could ever do in your own strength. Remember the little boy with 5 loaves and 2 fish. That was not enough to feed himself, let alone a crowd of thousands. But when he gave it to Jesus, the impossible happened. Jesus multiplied it and fed over 5,000 people with leftovers to spare. Stop looking at what you do not have and start giving God what you do have. Maybe you feel like you do not have much. Maybe you feel underqualified and underprepared. But God is saying, I can work with that. Just give me what you have. Give me your willing heart. Give me your small beginning. Give me your simple faith. And watch what I can do with it. Moses had a speech problem. Gideon was the least in his family. Peter denied Jesus 3 times. Paul persecuted Christians before he became one. Every major figure in the Bible had flaws, weaknesses, and disqualifications, but God still used them in mighty ways. So stop using your weaknesses as an excuse. Start seeing them as opportunities for God to show his strength through you. Your ordinary is enough for God to do the extraordinary. You do not need to become someone else. You do not need to pretend to be something you are not. You just need to bring yourself fully surrendered to the God who specializes in using the unlikely. The world looks at your limitations. God looks at your potential. The world sees what you lack. God sees what you can become. Position yourself as available and watch how God positions you for greatness. I do not know what knocked you down. I do not know what obstacle you are facing. I do not know what failure you are recovering from. But I know this. This is not the end of your story. You might be on the ground right now, but you are not out. You might be down, but you are not defeated. As long as you have breath in your lungs, you have another chance to get back up. Every champion has been knocked down. Every success story has chapters of failure in it. Every breakthrough was preceded by a breakdown. So do not be ashamed of your setback. Do not let it define you. Let it refine you. Let it teach you what you need to learn. Let it prepare you for a comeback that nobody saw coming. God is about to flip the script on your situation. The enemy thought he had you. He thought he finished you. But what the enemy meant for your destruction, God is going to use for your elevation. Your comeback is going to be greater than your setback. Your second act is going to be better than your first. Your next chapter is going to make everything you went through make sense. Think about Job. This man lost everything. His children, his wealth, his health. Even his wife told him to curse God and die. His friends accused him of a secret sin. He was sitting in ashes, scraping sores off his body. It looked like the most destruction any person could experience. But God was not finished. God restored Job with double everything he had lost. His latter days were greater than his former days. That is what God wants to do for you. He wants to restore double what the enemy stole. He wants to give you back your joy, your peace, your hope, your finances, your relationships, your health. Whatever the enemy took from you, God is a God of restoration. He does not just want to bring you back to where you were. He wants to take you beyond where you have ever been. Your comeback story is going to inspire people. When they see how far you fell and how high you rose, they will have no choice but to recognize that God is real. When they see the ashes you came from and the beauty you walked into, they will know that miracles still happen. Your setback is creating the contrast. The bigger the fall, the more dramatic the rise. The darker the valley, the more impressive the mountaintop. So do not stay down. Do not wallow in self-pity. Do not rehearse your failure over and over again. Get back up. Dust yourself off. Wipe your tears, square your shoulders, and get ready to fight again, because your comeback is loading. Your turnaround is in progress. Your miracle is being prepared. This setback is setting up the greatest comeback story of your life. The problem with most of us is that we create God in our own image instead of recognizing that we are created in His image. We put human limitations on a God who has no limitations. We think small because we are small. But God is not small. He is infinite. He is all powerful. He is beyond anything our minds can fully comprehend, and yet we try to fit Him into our tiny boxes. There is nothing too hard for God. There is no disease He cannot heal. There is no addiction He cannot break. There is no relationship He cannot restore. There is no debt He cannot cancel. There is no door He can open. There is no enemy He cannot defeat. And when you truly believe this, it changes how you pray. It changes how you live. It changes how you face your problems. So stop putting God in a box. Stop telling God how to work. Stop trying to figure out the how and just trust Him with the what. Your job is to believe. His job is to deliver. And He has never failed. Not one time in the history of the universe has God failed to keep His promises. His track record is perfect. We limit God with our small prayers. We ask for just enough. We ask for barely making it. We ask for scraping by. But God wants to do exceedingly abundantly above all we can ask or think. He wants to blow your mind. He wants to exceed your expectations. He wants to do so much more than what you are asking for. But you have to give Him room to work by expanding your faith. Some of you are praying for a bicycle when God wants to give you a jet. You are asking for a job when God wants to give you a business. You are hoping for survival when God has planned for you to thrive. Your small thinking is limiting what God can do in your life. Not because He is unable, but because your faith is the container that receives His blessings. Small faith, small container. Big faith, big container. I want you to remove every limitation you have placed on God. Remove the limitation of your past experiences. Remove the limitation of what you have seen other people achieve. Remove the limitation of what you think is realistic. Remove the limitation of what the experts say is possible. Tear down every wall you have built around God and let Him be who He really is. Almighty, all-knowing, ever-present, unlimited in power and resources. When you pray, pray like you are talking to the God who created galaxies with a word. When you believe, believe like you are trusting the God who raises the dead. When you dream, dream like you are partnering with the God who makes the impossible possible every single day. Stop limiting God and watch how limitless your life becomes. Now, let me be clear about something. Faith without works is dead. You cannot just sit on your couch, pray, and expect everything to fall in your lap. God requires participation. He requires you to take steps of faith. He is not going to do for you what He has empowered you to do for yourself. You have a role to play in your own miracle. When Jesus told the man with the withered hand to stretch it out, the man had to move. When He told the paralytic to pick up his mat and walk, the man had to take action. When He told Peter to step out of the boat, Peter had to put his foot on the water. In every miracle, there was a moment of obedience. There was a step of faith. There was action required from the person receiving the miracle. Your miracle is connected to your movement. You have to do something. Apply for the job. Start the business. Make the phone call. Write the book. Take the class. Whatever God is telling you to do, do it. Do not wait until you feel ready. Do not wait until conditions are perfect. Step out in faith and watch God meet you in the middle. Too many people are waiting for God to do everything while they do nothing. They want a financial miracle, but will not budget work or invest. They want a health miracle, but will not eat right, exercise, or rest. They want a relationship miracle, but will not communicate, forgive, or grow. God partners with effort. He blesses movement. He multiplies action. There is a principle I have learned over the years. God will often ask you to do something that seems small, insignificant, or even foolish before He releases the big miracle. He told Naaman to dip in the Jordan River 7 times. He told the Israelites to march around Jericho. He told the servants to fill jars with water before He turned it into wine. The small act of obedience unlocks the supernatural response. What is God telling you to do right now? What step have you been avoiding? What action have you been procrastinating on? Stop waiting for a sign. Stop waiting for confirmation. If you know what you need to do, just do it. The miracle is on the other side of your obedience. The breakthrough is waiting for your action. The blessing is connected to your willingness to move. Some of you have been stuck because you have been praying without doing. Prayer is essential. Faith is essential. But at some point, you have to get up off your knees and put legs on your prayers. Work as it depends on you and pray as it depends on God. That is the balance. That is the partnership. That is how you position yourself for miracles that require your participation. One of the biggest traps you can fall into is the comparison trap. Looking at what everybody else has. Looking at how fast everybody else is moving. Looking at the blessings in other people's lives while ignoring the blessings in your own. Comparison is the thief of joy. It will rob you of contentment. It will steal your peace. It will make you bitter instead of better. But you do not know their story. You do not know what they had to sacrifice. You do not know what they had to endure. You do not know what battles they fought in private. You are comparing your behind the scenes to their highlight reel, and that will steal your joy every single time. Social media has made this worse. Everybody is showing their best moments while hiding their worst. God has a unique path for you, a unique timing for you, a unique blessing with your name on it. And if you spend all your energy watching everybody else's lane, you are going to crash in your own. Stay focused. Stay faithful. Your time is coming. Your moment is approaching. Your blessing is on the way. When you compare, you either end up in pride or despair. If you compare yourself to someone who has less, you might become arrogant. If you compare yourself to someone who has more, you might become depressed. Neither response is healthy. Neither response is what God wants for you. He wants you focused on your own race, running your own pace, reaching your own finish line. Think about it like runners in a race. Elite runners never look at the person next to them. They keep their eyes straight ahead. They run their race. They focus on their stride, their breathing, their technique. They know that looking at competitors will slow them down and throw off their rhythm. You need to run your race the same way. God might be working faster in someone else's life for a reason you do not understand. Maybe they need it sooner. Maybe they have been waiting longer. Maybe their purpose requires them to receive now, while yours requires you to receive later. You do not know the details. You do not know the full picture. So trust that God knows what He is doing in your life, even if it looks different from what He is doing in someone else's life. Celebrate other people's success without feeling threatened by it. Cheer for their victories without feeling diminished. Be genuinely happy when good things happen to others, because a heart that can celebrate others is a heart that is ready to receive its own blessing. Jealousy blocks miracles. Comparison clogs the flow of favor. But a heart of gratitude and celebration positions you for your own breakthrough to manifest. If you cannot thank God for what you have, why should He give you more? I mean, really think about that. Gratitude is the key that unlocks new levels of blessing. When you are thankful for the little, God can trust you with the much. Ingratitude closes doors. Gratitude opens them. It is that simple. So start counting your blessings. Start thanking God for waking you up this morning. Start thanking Him for the roof over your head. Start thanking Him for the breath in your lungs. Start thanking Him for the food on your table. Start thanking Him in advance for the miracle that is on its way. A grateful heart attracts more to be grateful for, because when you praise Him before you see the breakthrough, that is when the walls start falling. When you worship Him in the middle of the storm, that is when the winds start dying down. Gratitude changes your perspective and positions you for your next miracle. It shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have. Paul and Silas were in prison, beaten, chained, in the darkest part of the jail at midnight. They had every reason to complain. They had every reason to question God. But instead, they sang praises. They worshiped. They gave thanks even in their chains. And at midnight, an earthquake shook the prison. The chains fell off, and the doors flew open. Their gratitude in the darkness unlocked their deliverance. Some of you are waiting for your circumstances to change before you start thanking God. But that is backwards. Thank Him first. Thank Him while you are still waiting. Thank Him while you are still struggling. Thank Him while you are still in prison. Because gratitude is faith in action. It says, I trust you so much that I am thanking you before I even see the answer. Gratitude also protects your heart from bitterness. When you focus on what you are grateful for, you cannot focus on what you are bitter about. When you count your blessings, you stop counting your problems. When you rehearse God's faithfulness, you stop rehearsing your frustrations. Gratitude is spiritual warfare. It fights back against negativity. It combats discouragement. It defeats despair. Make gratitude a daily discipline. Every morning, name 5 things you are thankful for. Every evening, review how God showed up during your day. Keep a gratitude journal. Write down the blessings, big and small. Speak thanksgiving out loud. Let your household be filled with the sound of praise. Create a culture of gratitude in your life. And watch how it opens doors you could never open on your own. Watch how it attracts favor you could never manufacture. Watch how it positions you for greater than you ever imagined. Today is the day you make a decision. Either you are going to believe that God is who He says He is, or you are going to keep living in doubt and defeat. You cannot stay neutral any longer. You cannot keep one foot in faith and one foot in fear. This moment requires a choice, and the choice you make will determine the direction of your life. The God we serve is the God of miracles. He split the Red Sea. He made the sun stand still. He shut the mouths of lions. He turned a little boy's lunch into a feast for thousands. He brought His own Son back from the dead. And He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. The God who did all of those things is the same God who is looking at you right now, asking you to trust Him. That means the same God who did all of those things is alive and active in your life right now. He is working behind the scenes. He is moving pieces into place. He is preparing something so great for you that your mind cannot even comprehend it. While you sleep, He is working. While you worry, He is working. While you doubt, He is working. God never takes a break from caring for you. So I am asking you to trust Him. Trust Him with your dreams. Trust Him with your family. Trust Him with your finances. Trust Him with your health. Trust Him with your future. Because nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, is impossible for our God. There is no mountain too high. There is no valley too low. There is no problem too complex. There is no situation too messy. God can handle it all. Your miracle is not a question of if. It is a question of when. And if you can hold on just a little bit longer, if you can believe just a little bit harder, if you can push just a little bit further, you are going to see the hand of God move in your life in ways you never thought possible. The breakthrough you have been praying for is closer than it has ever been. Get ready. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. Your miracle is already in motion. The God of miracles is fighting for you. And when He is for you, nothing can stand against you. Not your past, not your enemies, not your circumstances, not your fears. Nothing. You are backed by the Creator of the universe. You are supported by the King of Kings. You are loved by the God of miracles. Now rise. Shake off that doubt. Shake off that fear. Shake off that discouragement and walk into the impossible. Because with God, nothing is impossible. I need you to say that to yourself. Nothing is impossible. Say it again. Nothing is impossible. Let that sink deep into your spirit. Let it become your confession. Let it become your declaration. Let it become the foundation upon which you build the rest of your life. Nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible with the God of miracles on your side.